ever heard me say how I can't stand males? I can't stand Jeffs. Jeff fucking Jeff. Alright, we're going to start with Jeff Keaton. 30 years ago today, February 15th, 2022. Yeah. I remember writing the statement about him having sex with an 8th grader, his own cousin. That was the beginning of the end of me and Jeff Keaton. Okay? But, you see, I tried to be optimistic about it because then I find out I'm pregnant and I couldn't tell Joel Cummings because I wasn't sure what to do. Pregnant by a cop or pregnant by a pedophile? I don't know. So, they both knew I was pregnant. Jeff is the one that put his name on the birth certificate. I don't know if that was being vindictive to Joel because he wanted to prove himself or what. But anyways, we never did have a blood test. Jeff signed, without my permission, put his name on my daughter's birth certificate. And it just seems to be history repeating itself. That's what happened with my daughter and her son. And somebody signing his birth certificate at the order of the state. The state and the government have no right doing that. And so if anybody's had that happen to them, it'd be my suggestion, file against the government and the state and whoever signed the birth certificate because they had no business doing it. Okay? That's being brought up publicly and in my lawsuit filing. Fucking the mask mandate. The fuck is it with people? Do you not understand that COVID is a made-up bullshit and created by China who already owns us? Because why? Because y'all get dumbed down by the government. And so with that being said, now they want to know who should, who shouldn't. Well, first of all, it was already said years ago that you shouldn't experiment with fucking drugs. Now you're experimenting with drugs. Who's stupid? Not I. I don't do drugs. I don't even take aspirin, okay? Because the label clearly states it causes fucking issues. Why would you subject yourself to taking a medication which is poison to the system because it's man-made, okay? It wasn't created by Mother Nature. Therefore, if it's not created by her, it shouldn't be consumed by you. So with that being said, all of these fucking idiots out here wearing masks and getting shots, not knowing what the fuck it is, and knowing that when you cover your face and your nose at the same time, with a bunch of fucking idiots, you're breathing in what you're breathing out. You're supposed to inhale the good and exhale the bullshit, right? So why are you exhaling it and breathing it back in? Government consumption. Are you that fucking stupid you don't understand it? Just asking. I'm not directing that to anybody specifically, but I'm going to target purposely people that don't pay attention and that don't know the Constitution. My grandfathers fought for this land. How about yours? Yeah, you might have had people in the military, but did they fight? Or did they only come home and fight with you because they were out overseas cheating on you? Okay, there's a difference. My grandpas fought. My relatives led. My parents and grandparents were leaders, warriors, and founders as well as settlers. How about that? My grandfather was the first house granted the passage. So he's the one that brought all of house, how, and house. Because I couldn't fucking spell back then. It wasn't my family that couldn't spell. It was the people behind the pen. Now, I question Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Barnstable County School District. The black guy that's on Facebook that is in charge of the curriculum for Barnstable. I asked him if he's teaching his students about the history of that property and land. No surprise. He read my message and he didn't dare answer. That is why Just another example I throw out there about males. Was he intimidated by my question? He should have been, if he isn't teaching. My grandfather founded that land. He was granted that land. So why doesn't anybody know about it? Because it's called eugenics. You see, in Vermont it's really big. My daughter and I had a conversation about that. I shared with her the information. Eugenics. Look it up. EUGENICS. That's where the government, the CIA, and the FBI all are involved in trying to change who you are. They alter your mind with mood and mind-altering medications. Like my daughter. They shot my daughter up with medications. My daughter was in horrible condition. She's much better now. That's because she got the love of God. And she follows Jesus. She's fighting that devil real hard. But she's doing great. Right now it's about a tough love. I have to be strong and I have to keep her strong. I used to coddle my daughter. Because that's my scare, was that if I didn't coddle her and do what the state and the government told me to do, that they would take her. Okay? Because those were the threats. So Brianna was babied. She doesn't know how to accept tough love, but she's getting it. And that's the only way you can do it with your children if they don't understand, is how I've had to learn it. I hate like hell having to be rough and tough about it. And I'm not saying physically. I'm saying emotionally and mentally. But that's the only way I can get her to strengthen herself, because they have beat her down. She was down. With the love of Jesus and the help of her mother, we brought her back up. We got her home from where she left to. She was returned to the bus station in Waterville, Maine. We still don't have all the pieces to the puzzle, but we got most of them. And the most important pieces are like when she points out that she was sitting on the bus bench smoking a cigarette with a Chinese guy. Well, that contradicts Gordon Obert's story. But her not knowing about the situation of her running across the street in the middle of the night for help also contradicts Gordon's story. I asked publicly for records and for the cameras that Gordon has inside and outside of his house as proof of what happened that night. I was denied them. You wouldn't deny them as a person trying to help if you didn't have something to hide, correct? So with that being said, and the fact that I have his statement to the Waterville PD saying that he would come forward with any information, why didn't Gordon Obert ever turn over the paperwork in regards to Brianna that he said was very important and it was left behind? And I have a picture of it because Brianna shared a picture of it. But there's more paperwork that's missing from my house, which would be a copy of the paperwork that has one piece of information about Jeffrey Hare and assaulting my daughter and being founded to be true by DCF in Newport, Vermont, but they still kept her there. And then she ran away from the abuse. She got herself on a plane and went to Florida. I got blamed for that. But that's okay. Blame me again. I'd do it all over again to protect my daughter. But I didn't get her a plane ticket, you see. I didn't purchase the ticket. I am the one that picked her up at the airport. You goddamn straight I am. Why would I leave my daughter stranded? But I abandoned my kids? Amy LeClaire? Your name is next. I'm just saying. I hope everybody had a great day on Valentine's Day, because I got a whole load with spring in mind. Fully bloomed in bright colors. We're going to let everybody know within the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, leading into the election of 22. We're going to find out Why all of this is happening out here.